Hello, it's been a while. So, the truth be told, I actually made this account when I was like 12 years old. And I'd go through a cycle of where I'd upload content and then not upload content. And eventually, as I started getting older, school, university, and life all just ended up getting in the way. And eventually, I just stopped uploading YouTube videos. Not that they were any good in the first place, as if you just look back at my content, you can see that it was definitely a kid that was making these. I think back then I lacked a clear goal with my channel, and I was uploading for the sake of just uploading. And after some thought, I've decided to make a channel where I will discuss life experiences and interesting topics, which I hope most people will basically find relatable. My main goal is to hopefully let people learn from me and my mistakes, and I want to offer my own perspective on situations that most of us go through throughout life. Now, I believe you guys will most likely fall into two categories. Number one, you're going to be young enough to actually be going through some of the things I plan on talking about, such as school or university. Or two, you'll most likely be a little older, perhaps my age, and be in your late 20s. Believe it or not, I am in my late 20s. And you will hopefully find this relatable and look back on this with nostalgia and reminisce in the things I have to say. But hopefully my end goal, no matter who you are, is to hopefully leave you feeling somewhat entertained. I think we all grew up wanting to be a big time YouTuber, but most of us never posted anything, or when we did, the quality just was not there. Again, look at my earlier videos. I also believe there was a big fear factor of what ifs. Now what do I mean by this? We would basically look at all the negative scenarios of what ifs. What if people don't watch me? What if people think I sound strange, which I personally do, but we bawl. What if people laugh at me? Like, don't get me wrong, this is still a scary thing to do, but I think with age, the older you get, the less you start to care about what people think. And that's what has basically happened with me. Now, while university did take up a lot of my time, I was also on the side of probably most people. I was quite scared of being judged by people, and it was like the first mental hurdle that had to be overcome. And sadly, there's no easy way to beat it than just to dive in. I'm not sure if people do relate, but the older I've got, the more unfulfilled I've been feeling, and I feel like I have to do something with my life other than work. Like, in the back of my mind, I've just had something telling me I need to do something, and this is now what I've settled on. Like, as a kid, I always had some form of creative bone inside my body, and I made videos very, very early on, even though some of them were cringy. But I think making content is something I quite enjoy. I think especially the editing process, I just really enjoy something about it. And this time now, with hopefully having a bit more wisdom, it's something I want to try again and actually start properly. And I do think there is just this YouTube paradox that many people go through, including myself, where you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to start a channel, and then you have all these ideas, and you'll maybe do a couple, and then you maybe don't get the results you want, and you kind of just stop. But then a few months, or maybe a year later, you start again, and you just repeat this cycle of wanting it, but not wanting it at the same time. Like, you want it, but you don't have the drive to go for it. And it's just a bit paradoxical that it's something that you want so much but don't obtain. And in theory, if you keep working at something, we should be able to get what we want, right? I'm a big believer in time and dedication. I was never the smartest person, especially at school. I did try. I was very dedicated to my studies, but I was never naturally smart. With a lot of hard work, I did obtain a first class in my degree, and I was very, very, very proud of myself for that. And this was only due to time and dedication. So it's something that we are definitely all capable of, and it's just very, very paradoxical to think about that we all have this, but it's hard to start. So I think it's just a strange thing. So why listen to me, right? Because I'm not famous, I'm not a millionaire, and I'm not a life coach. I'm just like an average guy, and I think that is what might draw people in. The fact that I'm not special. I probably relate to quite a lot of people. You know, I have an 8-hour 9 to 5 job. Well, technically I can work a bit earlier due to some flexible working, but I still have to do the hours in the day. And I think that's what most of us do, right? We wake up, we work, we come home, and we kind of just repeat this cycle. And I've done everything in life so far, other than travel really. I've not really travelled, you know. I've been to school, got an education, done part-time work as a growing up, done the odd job to try and earn some money, and then got a career. And then I was going to follow this career through, but something inside me doesn't sit right, and it doesn't feel like this is what I want anymore. So I kind of want to, I mean, I will still work because obviously bills need to be paid, right? But I want to start like helping people, even if it's just a little bit of advice about what to expect going through life. So going forward, what's my actual goal? So I'm aiming to hopefully get at least one video out every 2 weeks. But my goal will be to try and do one every week. But the reason why I say every 2 weeks is because you never know with life, you never know what's going to come up, you never know how drained you're going to be from work. So yeah, I don't want to like set the priorities like too full on really, and then get burnout. 'Cause that's not good for anyone. And I want this to succeed. So I think being lenient with how often I upload. So again, once every 2 weeks. I think that is definitely achievable. Gives me plenty of time to try and get the edits in and sort everything out for a video. Like think of the idea, put pen to paper, and just let me create what I want to create in a good time frame. So hopefully I'll see you guys in 2 weeks time with our first actual video that's not an introduction. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching. It's really appreciated. And if you do enjoy my content, a subscribe would not go amiss. And I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.